The Black Widow is a name associated with females of a type of spider that kills its mate after mating. But today we're going to see together a Black Widow from among humans. In 1990, in a small town, there was a girl named Ashley, 11 years old, living with her family, her father Michael, her mother Stacy, and her little sister Bree. Although she loved spending time with her father, the mechanic, her relationship with her mother was much stronger. The girl says, "My mother and I would sit for hours talking to each other about anything." In November 1990, Ashley had no idea that the relationship between her father and mother was very tense, and that her mother was seriously thinking about divorce. Her mother even told one of her friends and got a lawyer's number from her to start the divorce process. But at that time, it was the holidays, and she said the time wasn't right to take this step and postponed it to the beginning of the year. After the holiday ended, she started noticing her mother had become very nervous and aggressive. The girl says the situation became the opposite. Her father was always the one being patient with her, and punishment started coming from her mother. In December 1990, her father Michael was suddenly complaining that he was always dizzy. Most of his time went to the doctor, and he explained to him how he always felt drunk even if he hadn't drunk. The doctor at that time treated him for an ear infection and told him, "Go rest at home." But the truth was that Michael had been poisoned. On December 24, Christmas Eve, Michael went to visit his mother for the holiday. His sister says his face was swollen. When she asked him what was wrong, he told her, "I think I have a bad cold." Days passed, and Michael's condition became worse until the 11th of January 1991. Ashley says, "I went home, and my father was sleeping on the couch where he slept most of his time throughout the past weeks." She says, "I called my mother and told her I'm here at home, and I sat down to watch TV. But my father made a strange sound. Suddenly he raised his hand up and brought it back down, and this was the last time he moved in his life." Michael was transferred to the hospital, and they did everything they could, but it was too late to save him. The doctors told them he probably died from a heart attack. When they asked the mother Stacy if she wanted to autopsy the body, she told them no. Michael's sister, who died, was there at the time. Stacy looked at her and told her, "Michael didn't like operations anyway, so surely he won't be happy if we autopsy him. Surely all he wants from us is that we live normally." You see her as a caring mother, taking care of her daughters. She liked him, but her daughters Ashley and Bree didn't like him. They were rejecting the idea of someone coming in place of their father. Ashley says she didn't like him even though he tried to get close to them and told her, "I don't want to be in your father's place." In 2003, meaning 2 years after David and Stacy met, they got married. Their marriage was sudden for everyone, especially since not a single person from David's side was invited to the wedding. Anyway, she and her daughters moved to David's house, which for Stacy was an upgrade and a better level than what she had been living. At first, David and Stacy were very happy, but her daughters weren't happy at all. The situation at home was always tense, and the girls couldn't accept their new father. But everything with time gets better. With the days, they started getting used to him. At Ashley's graduation, David appeared very proud of her. Ashley says, "If you saw how he looked at me with a smile on his face, I felt I was really his daughter." Her relationship with him started improving. But suddenly, the relationship between him and his wife Stacy became not good at all, and always tense. The investigators weren't convinced about the matter because they found in the kitchen trash a plastic dropper of the kind used to draw or inject liquids. It also had green solution in it. He said, "How did this dropper get here if he locked himself in the room?" They took Stacy to the police station to investigate her. She called her daughter Ashley to tell her that David had died. The girl was shocked and devastated because David had become like her father. So how again would her second father die like this? No one knew that this devil mother was behind everything that was happening. That's why they called her the Black Widow. But believe me, all this is nothing compared to what you're going to hear now. The police couldn't accuse her of anything, and she came out of the matter like a hare from dough. David had written in his will that he was leaving everything to her, his house, his company, all his cars. The strange thing was he didn't write anything for his son. Stacy started taking the girls on trips, spending more time with them, spending on them, and getting close to them. In 2006, a year after David's death, the result of the green solution they found in the kitchen trash came out. The shock was that it also contained antifreeze. They heard traces of David's DNA, and the cup that was in the room next to David on the table had 3 fingerprints, all belonging to Stacy. Here the police were sure it was a murder operation. But all this without a confession or a witness didn't help the police accuse Stacy. Things remained like this until 2007, 2 years after David's death. They asked Stacy to go to the police station for a final interview. They told her, "We want to close the case, but there are a few questions you need to answer. We exhumed your first husband's body from his grave, and the test results say there's also a lot of antifreeze in his body." When she went, everyone noticed how scared and nervous she was. The investigator here decided to interrogate Stacy in a way that would trap her in talking. So he asked her, "In the room with David, there were 2 cups and cranberry juice. Can you tell me which cup you brought and poured cranberry juice in?" She told him. "When I poured, I mean the juice." She stopped, her tongue slipped, and the truth came out because she was very nervous. Suddenly she got angry and told him, "You're trying to trap me in talking, and I don't want to continue the investigation." Here the police decided to leave her and get permission to wiretap her calls. She knew she was cornered and that the police would accuse her of both crimes unless she was smarter than them. What no one expected was what she could do to hide her crimes. On September 14, a week after the investigation they did with her, the police who were monitoring the phone lines at her house heard her calling emergency. She was requesting an ambulance because her daughter Ashley had swallowed medicine pills. The police arrived, and Ashley was struggling and on the verge of dying. Her mother was standing explaining to them that she found next to her bed a bottle of vodka, an empty medicine box, and a letter. The letter said, "I love you so much, Mom, and I'm sorry for everything I did. I couldn't bear how my father was nervous and always yelling at you. I'm the one who killed my father, Michael, and I'm the one who killed your husband, David." The letter had precise details about the method of poisoning them. But there was something strange about the letter. It was 750 words, all typed. Even Ashley's name at the end was typed, not handwritten. But as I told you, when the ambulance arrived, Ashley had her eyes open but wasn't responding. They rushed her to the hospital and put her in intensive care. It wasn't clear if she would live or not. If you remember, when her father died at the beginning of the story, the girl was 11 years old. Is it possible for an 1-year-old girl to plan to kill in this way? God was kind to Ashley. When she woke up, she saw her mother next to her with the police. Her mother told her, "I apologize to you, and I love you," and left the room. Here, the real interrogation began to find out exactly what happened. What had happened was that the police were going to Ashley at school to ask her if she knew that her father, Michael, who died when she was 11 years old, also died because he had been drinking antifreeze. At that time, Ashley got confused and scared and didn't know what to say because her mother had made her understand that the police wanted to trap them in talking. So be careful what you say in front of them. When the police left her and went away, she told her mother that the police came to school and investigated me and I'm very scared. She told her, "Don't be afraid, and when you come back home, we'll talk." When she went home, her mother told her, "What do you think? Let's drink 2 glasses. This week has been difficult." Ashley was a teenager, and that her mother allowed her to drink with her was something nice. So they sat and drank together. She says, "I drank 1 glass, but I felt like I was going to faint. The next day, the same thing happened. My mother told me, 'Let's get drunk together.' But the taste was very strong and I couldn't drink it. I told her I couldn't break it for me with juice or something. But she brought me a straw and told me, 'Drink it like this, little by little.' I drank it and fainted. Her sister Bree sensed her the next morning, her voice while sleeping, like she couldn't breathe. At that time, she tried to wake me up and started shaking me and screaming, and my mother called the ambulance. Imagine that a mother tried to kill her daughter and frame her with accusations to clear herself. The police immediately arrested Stacy at the hospital and detained her. The mother's trial was a year after her attempt to kill her daughter. Ashley had been preparing herself for this difficult day when she would face her mother in front of the court. She says, "After everything my mother did, she was looking at me with a look that I was the one who disappointed her." The trial lasted 3 weeks. They also discovered she forged David's will to be the only beneficiary. They sentenced her to 54 years in prison. The big shock was that information also reached them that she might have killed her father in the same way she killed Michael and David. In 2016, this devil died in prison. Guys, this was our story for today. I hope you liked it. This story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, and I'll see you in a new video.